I went through a long period, years of being a news junkie. Just feeling this all-consuming need, not a desire, a need to be informed, specifically about U.S. politics. But it kind of expanded from there. I'm talking, I had subscriptions to multiple newspapers, and I would read various publications online as long as the paywall would let me. Plus, I'd watch cable news, CNN and MSNBC, or MS Now, as they call it, now. Then I'd get in my car, and the BBC World Service was on the radio, so I would get another perspective on things. It was a lot. And at a certain point, I realized that I felt terrible. I was not much fun to be around. At rehearsals, when we'd take a break, I would find a way to bring up whatever issue I was obsessing over at the time. I was incredibly well-informed, I thought. I could talk about the minutiae of redistricting efforts or single-payer healthcare policy or whatever. And there was a feeling of duty attached to this, like I was doing my civic duty by staying informed. Like it was my responsibility to pay attention to all the horrible shit going on in the world. And there is a lot. But then at the same time, there was nothing I could do about any of it. That's how I felt. Like the only thing I can do is be informed, so when the next election rolls around, I'll be able to cast a vote for the right person, or the left person in my case. But then when I realized that I felt like crap, I knew that I had to stop, or at least cut down on my news consumption. The timing was perfect because about a month later, Jeff Bezos inspired a ton of people to drop their Washington Post subscriptions. I was on the cutting edge, already canceled. I still have the New York Times on my phone. I gotta have Wordle, right? And I still watch an occasional clip from CNN or MS Now, and I religiously watch the Friday edition of the PBS NewsHour with Brooks and Capehart. But other than that, I made the decision to focus on creativity, both as a creative person and as a subject. I find the study of creativity fascinating. Creativity is so fundamental to society. It's kind of mind-blowing when you start thinking about it. And if you're into that side of it like I am, that's what the newsletter is for. Stuff I'm reading, ideas I'm chewing on, extended versions of what shows up in the episodes. It's totally free. Just go to ktfpod.com. Links in the description. But politics, as unpleasant as it can be, is also creative work in a way. Crafting public policy, finding compromise, swaying public opinion, writing speeches. I listen to Pod Save America a lot. Well, sometimes. And those guys were Obama's speechwriters. And writing speeches like that is incredibly creative work. They hit the jackpot when they landed Obama as a client, but I'm sure they would have done well no matter what. So the intersection of creativity and politics and activism, using our creativity for good, has been rolling around in my brain lately. I went to Bremen, Germany last month for the JazzAhead conference, and while I was there, I ran into a Swedish Flutist who I knew from a workshop I did in Denmark a couple of years ago. Elsa Nilsson is her name. She was doing a panel discussion about the potential of art as a force for good. The discussion was titled Artivism, which honestly I found a little cringy, but whatever, the talk was good. And of course, since this was a jazz convention, it focused on both the history of activism in jazz and the current and potential role for it as a force for change. But this could have been about any art form. Any of us, regardless of what medium we're in, could be an agent for change. They talked about that feeling of helplessness that I know so well, feeling like no matter what I do, things will just turn out however they do. I have no control over what happens. So what's the point? But they also talked about the feeling you get from using your creative abilities towards some higher purpose. Not a feeling of accomplishment, because sometimes we're part of a struggle that goes on for generations, but more of a feeling of usefulness, feeling like you're part of something bigger, and feeling a small sense of relief by taking action instead of being resigned to inaction. I knew those feelings too. In my youth, back in the olden times, I was active in politics. I volunteered. I worked in phone banks. Not glamorous work, but it felt like I'd done something. It felt good. But I never really used my own creativity to further any cause. I've played as a sideman on benefit concerts for various causes, so I guess that's not 100% true. But I've never set out to do something of my own about a cause that has particular importance to me. Honestly, it scares me a little. I don't want to fall back into the pattern of being obsessed with the news. Starting a project that will require time and research feels dangerous. But that is what I'm going to try to do in the next couple of weeks. Make something to support a cause. And I'd love it if you'd want to join me in that. Whatever you end up making, if you want to post a link to it here in the comments, that would be great. And obviously I'll post mine. I have a few ideas already, and I can't wait to get into it. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, keep the flow. Honestly, my stomach is growling. Can't have that on a podcast.